All right, today's episode is Why Are Men Silent? All right, the reason men are silent is just for a number of reasons. Some of them are just basically the fear of looking weak, not wanting to be a burden to others, and obviously past experiences of being either dismissed or just misunderstood. So take this back to those generational, barriers, generational standards. We were taught not to show emotions, but we weren't really taught to basically handle them either. So it begs that question of how do we express our emotions? We don't know. So the best bet we're taught is just to stay silent. But that's not good either, because in staying silent, you get bottled up emotions, you get bottled up thoughts. So you don't know how to process those thoughts. And at a certain point or a certain situation, you're going to break. And when you break, that's not a good look for, you. So, what I've learned is that a lot of men basically aren't emotionalists. We just don't know how to practice expressing it. We don't know how to articulate, our emotions. Why? Because we were never taught and we never practiced. And if we did practice, whether it was with a friend or a relationship, it was never, like, oh, this is what you got to work on and this is how you got to work on it. It's like, no, it's like, how can we practice something we don't know what to practice for, right? So it leads on to basically men staying silent. It leads on to the language gap. Men don't always have the right words to say. Mhm. So many men basically feel things deeply but can't label them. As I stated before, the we don't know how to articulate our emotions. We don't know how to, say what we're thinking, and then what we're thinking, try to translate it into the right tonality, because sometimes we use that tonality of aggressiveness, or sometimes it's too assertive, or sometimes it's even too confusing at times, depending on the tonality we send it in, we portray it in. And sometimes it often leads to, anger, because we're not understood, and we don't know how to make you guys understand in that aspect, because we never practice how to articulate our thoughts into emotions, and then of course those emotions into words where you can understand. And sometimes we don't have that emotional vocabulary, which equals emotional control. So we say what we mean, but sometimes it gets misunderstood. And when that person says what we said to them back, we get a little bit frustrated or angry or even sometimes triggered, because it's like, that's not what I meant. This is what I'm trying to say, but I don't know how to say it. And that's where the underneath it all starts, the hurt, the rejection, the fear, and sometimes even insecurity, just to say what you want to say, in the, fear of not being heard, or even saying what you said is like, oh, it's an insecurity issue. And it's not. It's just like, I'm just stating a fact. This is how, I'm feeling. This is how you made me feel. This is how I felt about this situation, or this is how I felt, or what I saw from you, or what I heard from you. So it's like, it's hard to really articulate those little details that some of us pay attention to. And we come off as, all those things rejected. We get that fear. And sometimes we just feel like we're not accepted, because um, you can't understand us to that point. So therefore, we got to stay silent, and we got to really, really break that pattern, so that way we can be understood in all all uh, all aspects. And then it leads into loneliness. It leads us to, just not searching for any other outlet because we've already tried it and it didn't work out. But it's like, did we truly try it? And the most thing that people do is basically we give them the surface level of friendships, we give them lack of conversations, and we just feel alone in every relationship because we don't know how to articulate our emotions. We don't know how to uh understand our emotions to the point where we can articulate them because we're logical thinkers, we're not emotional thinkers. Women are more emotional thinkers and logical thinkers in some cases. Everybody's different, but it's just that's who we are built. The men are logical. It's like, boom, we hunt, we feed. We got to go about it a certain way. And yeah, the surface level friendships that we just say is like we don't go too deep, we don't say too much because we're afraid if we say too much is being vulnerable, and then at that point it can be used against us, and we don't want to have to go through that because I'm pretty sure that's been traumatizing, that's been triggering, and we don't want to have to relive that again with someone new. So that's why we just keep everything surface level, and it just stays like that. That it doesn't get too deep unless a situation arises where you have to prove that friendship, and once that friendship's proven, then we allow you to break that surface level barrier. And that is it for the podcast. And now here comes the Q&A part.
Woo! I guess I can bring something from experience on why men stay silent. Again, it depends on each individual. This happened to me in the past where I didn't speak to anyone about it. I was having I can't say a crisis, but I was getting so stressed up about all the situations that were happening in life. I moved to a new job. The new job was stressful. It was close to being micromanaged. For those people who know about it, it's like your superior is there asking almost every single time how's everything going, and then your family starts having trouble. They talk to you each each on their own, and eventually you start to suffocate yourself because it's like, okay, everyone has this amount of problems. They talk to me for guidance or help or just to get it out. But then again, it's like, okay, if they have so many problems, so many issues, who can I speak to? Because I'm adding to that burden. So it's one of the things that most people don't see it, understand it. But sometimes we vent too much and we don't ask the same for the other person. Um, Maybe we expect that this person is, cold as a statue. They can withstand everything. So that's why I can talk to that person. It's like, hey, I can tell you everything that's going on. Maybe you can give me your advice, or maybe I just need to talk to you and get it all over it. No opinions, no advices, but just get it over, and I'll be fine. And she'll be fine. But we never stop to think about what the other person is going through. So in my case, I have friends, family talking to me, asking for advice, maybe because of my quiet type. I don't go there telling about my day to anyone. But eventually, I had so many problems on my own because, like, hey, my family, my friends are having so many problems, so many issues. I want to help them, but at the same time, I have my own issues, my own problems, and I can't talk to anyone because they have their own issues and problems. So it's like, should I contribute to the burden of it, um, or not? Try to deal it on my own. Eventually, me staying silent made me break. Uh, it made me break at one point when I had to go out the office um, and try to sit down because I was having some issues on my side, and not like a critical one, but I had to, slow down, try to breathe, think about it, and uh, at that moment, I was like, you know what, um, I do need help. So I had to ask for first for between friends is like, hey, do you know a psychologist, someone who can give therapy? And, they're good, not excellent, but someone who's like, hey, I can go there and maybe I can get a fix. And yeah, I got a contact. I went there. I have a couple of sessions, and eventually I was fine. Probably I needed venting, of course, but it's like I had to talk to someone. I had to go to a specialist. I never had that what do you call it, taboo of going to a therapy, because some people actually think that going to a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or someone like that is basically bad. I'm crazy, and it's not. I never thought about it, but just I never considered it going until I basically broke.
Yeah.
I went there 2 sessions. I vented out, and that's it. I was like, okay, it's like a reset. I'm fine now. And I did get a little bit of fix, and then I just changed jobs and everything, so it was normal. And then again, it happened. I'm talking about so many years in the future, like so many years, probably 10 years. Um, but I went through the same, not exactly the same experience, but it's like, hey, you know what? I'm choking on everything that is going on. I don't talk to anyone, and it was difficult. So eventually, this led to actual anxiety, not sleeping, and I went again to psychologists. But in this case, like I know they can help me.
Yeah.
It's different because in the past I didn't know what to do. Now it's like, hey, I can go to a specialist, talk about it, and get it over with. And yeah, it was a little bit more difficult. It took more sessions, maybe medication, but eventually, I'm talking about a year ago, and now I'm fine. Like I don't need therapy, I don't need medication. Maybe the sleep schedule, but that's my fault. um, but eventually, choking up on things that we don't talk because maybe pride, maybe because we don't want to, you know, get the burden on someone else. Um, some people call it pride. Maybe in my case, is I can do it. Some people say that don't be like that. It's like, hey, ask for help. It's like, no, I don't ask for help because I can do it. But eventually, doing too much is too much. There's a point where you need to say, you know what, I do need help on this type of things. But also, staying quiet is also a decision. Maybe some people can deal with it. They have a filter process better than anyone. Others they don't. Um, some go to exercise, and some play video games. Some go to the movies. Some go take trips, hobbies. Painting, whatever. Um, and but if you don't have a way to take it out, it just accumulates inside of you until there's a breakpoint. Um, no specific questions. I don't know how you see it. I may give a recommendation. In my case, this is a personal experience. Um, but yeah, staying silent is good on occasions. It avoids any future conflicts. Understanding that maybe there's no fixing, but staying silent too much, it's bad because you accumulate too many things that you can handle, and the mind and the body can only hold up so much. I don't know if you have any any recommendations that you can give. I have my few that I just spoke, right? That's my own way. And also, my recommendation would be seek for help, talk to someone that you have confidence. Look for professional therapy. Don't go with the taboo. So many people just say, it's like, no, I'm not going, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
It's not about being crazy, it's about mental health.
Exactly. So no, yeah. For me, all I like to vent to my friends, see if they have any insight on it, see their perspective, have their experience, and then also is just showing a vulnerable side for me personally. It shows me who my real friends are. It just shows that who's gonna be willing to take the time to invest, not only their time in me, but their mental capacity, their mental experiences, because we're all human. That's the bottom line. We're all human. So if you have those friends that you can, be open with and be, vulnerable with, then it's worth having. And then, the next step would be family. Yeah, I understand I put friends over family, but sometimes there are those cases where you don't want to tell your family everything. And, friends is, another one. So friends, family, and then if not, and if all else doesn't work, then yeah, seek professional help because that is what they're there for. A stranger, it's interesting to say is that you can tell all your life story to a stranger and they won't judge you, whereas family and friends might. So that's why, seeking a counselor or a therapist could help you. You never know. You feel safer around a stranger than you would your family and friends. And that is okay too. It is okay to feel safe in a unsafe area because, you made that your safe area. So those are my recommendations.
Would you also recommend not judging too quick? Um, like you mentioned, you can go to your family, which is the best option, but sometimes family judges you too quickly. They give their personal experience to you and they try to give you advice based on their life, but at the same time, it's not the same. It's different person, different mentality, different age.
Hmm.
So you would recommend understanding first, listening first, instead of trying to fix it at the moment, because sometimes that super quick fix that we may think is the best, it may not be the best for the other person.
Yeah, it's always good to not act on what you just were told on the advice. It's always good to let it marinate, just let it sit and be like, okay, what did that person really mean? Because everyone has a different understanding, everyone has a different definition for all those meanings. So you got to really sit down and let it marinate. And if you do have any questions, and that's where you go back, circle back and you say, hey, what did you mean about this? Or what did you mean about that? And then you can go from there. You can really analyze and dissect it. And then who knows, you might find the answer within doing that instead of anything else.
Totally.
Mhm.
And I guess the last recommendation here is speak up, find someone with confidence, and take notes. Just take it by step. You don't have to fix everything on one specific moment.
And that is it for the Q&A, guys. Tune in next time, Behind the Armor.